Your favorite neighborhood pizza place. Everyone goes to Pizza Joe's. This program made possible by a grant from Pizza Joe's. Hello, Butts Flowers and NC TV 45 would like to welcome you to the Canes Victory Parade in downtown Newcastle. NC TV 45 would like to thank Butts, Florists and Gifts for their fine cooperation for this podcast. Remember, when you need that special gift, it's Butts. Keep watching NC TV 45. Gary's Wardrobe, furnished by Main Street Clothiers and Custom Tailors, 210 East Washington Street, Newcastle.
I'm Gary West for NC TV 45. This is another segment of Focus NC. This is segment 3 with my guest Rhonda DeFelice, who's an environmentalist and also an author. And first of all, I want to thank our sponsors, Main Street Clothiers and Custom Tailors in downtown Newcastle, and Butts Flowers and Gifts, also in downtown Newcastle, and Pizza Joe's with 4 Newcastle locations. Everyone goes to Pizza Joe's. Now I'm hungry. All right.
Me too. I think I'm going to Pizza Joe's.
Well, in case you missed our first 2 segments with Rhonda, Rhonda is a huge proponent of the environment, and let's work together and let's make it a better place for all of us. Not just locally here in Newcastle, Lawrence County, but we're talking about the whole planet. And I do want to remind you that you can go to our website and reference the other 2 segments in case you missed those, nctv45.com. We want to talk a little bit about recycling, Rhonda. Before the 1920s, 70% of U.S. cities ran programs to recycle certain materials. During World War II in the 1940s, industry recycled and reused about 25% of the waste stream. So because of concern for the environment, recycling is again on the upswing. So would you agree with that? The upswing?
Yes and no.
Yes and no?
Yeah. We've come pretty far in Newcastle here because we went from just having 1 collection a month to 2. Yay.
I was happy about that.
I was too.
I think everybody was.
I was very happy because we tend to put out more recycling than actual garbage. Between composting and recycling, we put out maybe a bag once every 2-3 weeks. And that's kind of a huge deal in Newcastle. So, but recycling, it's kind of a touchy thing because it's reduce, reuse, recycle. And not a lot of people are familiar with that phrase. But recycle is kind of the last thing you want to have to do with something. Let me explain that. You want to refuse to use the plastic, reduce your consumption use of plastic. Because recycling, it's not as caught up as we'd like it to be. Styrofoams, for instance, we can put those in our recycle bins. But the process doesn't exist to recycle it yet. So we should not use it instead of putting it in the recycling bins thinking we're doing a good thing.
It's so important to recycle to preserve and protect our resources, obviously, and that's for ourselves and future generations. Now, wouldn't you agree it's just common sense? But people aren't using common sense when it comes to recycling.
You know what they say, common sense isn't very common. Yeah, it should be common sense. I still have to just insist on the refusing to use the plastic products. Cut back on your use. We don't need to buy bottled water. It's much cheaper to just use water from our tap at home with a filter.
That's what I do.
That's what I do.
I have a filter.
I've got my water bottle right there. I never leave home without it. We don't need plastic bags. Our grandparents got through grocery shopping without plastic bags. We can do it too. Reusable bags are very easy to carry. I have probably 500 of them at home. Keep them in my car. I keep some in my purse. It's just a new habit to get into. But those plastic bags, it's actually cheaper and easier to create plastic bags from scratch than to recycle the plastic bags that we already use. So those ones you're putting in the bin at the grocery store, that's great, you're bringing them back there. They're not necessarily being recycled. So refuse, reduce, reuse, then recycle what you have left.
Recycling awareness is so important, and we got to start making the children aware of it. Do you know what programs are available right now for the young people?
We're trying to do a little bit more. Tri-County Clean Ways is a good program, helping with the awareness. It's going to start with the schools. What's so great is when you get the children involved, they don't let their parents get away with anything. If you teach the children, hey, we recycle this, they'll watch their parents really closely. I've heard it happen before. It's like, oh, you're throwing that away? Don't throw that away. That needs to be recycled. So it's very important to get the children on board with it.
Do you think the EPA, for those of you who don't know, that's the Environmental Protection Agency, is doing enough to protect the planet? Are they doing enough?
They can't. There's too much to do.
Their hands are tied too sometimes, right?
Their hands are really tied. At the end of the day, that's a political organization, and it's up to us. And plus, people get all bent out of shape when guidelines come out. They're banning plastic bags in cities across the country. LA, banning the plastic bags, and if you want a paper bag from the grocery store, you have to pay for it. That'll encourage people to remember their reusable bags. But other people tend to not like being told what to do through laws. That'd be fine if we were doing it on our own, but if we can't figure it out ourselves, then yes, laws have to be passed. They could do a lot more. They're trying, but it's hard.
Can recycling save energy?
Yes. It takes less energy to recycle certain things than to, say, mine more aluminum out of the planet. Glass and aluminum cans are absolutely amazing to be recycled. You have a can, it becomes part of a car, or another can. You have glass, it recycles very easily. Plastic, it can't turn into the same thing that it was. If you have food-grade plastic and you recycle it, it can't become another food-grade product. It's all very touchy.
Yeah. A little factoid, a ton of soda cans made with recycled aluminum saves an amazing 21,000 kilowatt hours by reducing the bauxite ore that would have to be mined, shipped, and refined, and that equates to 95% energy savings.
See, he asked me that question, but he knew the answer already. Glad I passed.
Yeah, there's just so much on recycling. I wish we had more time.
It's a lot. It's a big one.
What can the average citizen do to help reduce our greenhouse gas emissions? I mean, I know there's a lot. There's a lot they can do, but maybe touch some of the
really easy ones.
Key issues on that.
Yeah, creating new habits. Reject those plastic bottles. It takes oil to make those plastic bottles. There's a fossil fuel. So reject those. Carry a reusable bottle. Filtered water. It's much less expensive, and we don't need that waste. You cut it out with the soda. And if you're going to drink soda, drink it out of a can instead. Stop using straws. Think about how many straws are used in just one day. That's plastic. It's not going anywhere. It's not getting recycled. It doesn't have a little number on it. Therefore, it doesn't get recycled. Stop with the plastic bags. It's so easy to form the new habit of grabbing the reusable bags. It really is. Some people, if they've forgotten to bring their bags into the store, they'll just put their groceries right back into the cart, get out to the car, and then load their groceries into the bags. Then they'll remember next time because that was kind of a pain. Walk. I walk to work a lot. It's nice, it's good exercise, and it's fresh air, and I'm not using the fossil fuels to drive my car.
Well, we're running out of time. I have so much more I wanted to talk to you about. But before we go, can that ozone hole be replenished?
Maybe.
Maybe.
We're entering a world of so many unknowns. We don't know how bad it's going to get, how quickly. We know it's going to get bad. We don't know how fast. We don't know if the oceans are reaching their tipping point and what's going to happen when they do, because we've never encountered that. It's all just conjecture.
Well, before we wrap things up, why don't you give everyone some contact information and what you got coming up? I know you got a book coming up too.
Yeah, so I have to be hiding myself in my house to just write. You can find me on Facebook under Rhonda DeFelice or Good Greenwich. Greenwich is all one word. You can follow me on Twitter at GoGreenwich. And that's about it for now. I'll have other avenues of contact information, but you can reach me at those places.
Rhonda, I want to thank you for joining us today. It's been very enlightening. A lot of important information was passed along in all three segments, and we're going to have you back on the program again. Maybe we'll get you on some cooking segments too, with some organic cooking.
That would be great. Backyard cooking. Herbs.
Very good. Well, thanks again. Rhonda DeFelice, environmentalist and author, and she cares about our planet, and so do we. And that's it for Focus NC. I'm Gary West for NC TV 45.
Your favorite neighborhood pizza place. Everyone goes to Pizza Joe's. This program made possible by a grant from Pizza Joe's. Gary's Wardrobe, furnished by Main Street Clothiers and Custom Tailors, 210 East Washington Street, Newcastle. Hello, Butts Flowers and NC TV 45 would like to welcome you to the Canes Victory Parade in downtown Newcastle. NC TV 45 would like to thank Butts, Florists and Gifts for their fine cooperation for this podcast. Remember, when you need that special gift, it's Butts. Keep watching NC TV 45.